Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 11 of my Minecraft Better Than Wolves Let's Play. Hold on just a sec. I always seem to have to change my settings at the beginning of the video. Yeah, I gotta do normal render distance on this computer while I'm recording. But, yeah, we got some really interesting stuff in this episode. I'm actually really looking forward to getting into it. Um, let's see. First order of business, though, before I get into the technical stuff, I, um, I can't respond to your feedback on the last video at this point. In episode 10, I asked for like comments and stuff on the conversation that I had, and as it stands right now, I'm still uploading episode 10 actually because of just like a plague of ridiculous YouTube errors. It's so annoying. I'm in California right now, as I said before, and I am on my mom's internet connection. Although the house is nice and the place is nice, and I like being here. The internet connection is about zero point 0.3 megabits per second upload. So a 35-minute video that normally takes about 2 hours to upload back in Massachusetts, it takes about 20 hours to upload here. So instead of being able to upload it in a reasonable amount of time, I have to like take 2 different nights and upload it over that course of time. So yeah, so hopefully episode 10 works this time. I've like had to re-upload it about 6 times due to various glitches and errors and like cutting off my connection and stuff like that. And yeah, so anyway, I'll respond to your feedback in episode 12, and I'm looking forward to seeing it when the episode actually goes up. But anyway, let's get into episode 11 because I've got some very interesting stuff for you. And although it's only a couple days after you guys will be seeing episode 10, it's actually been a couple of weeks since I did that. So I have done some very neat stuff. I traveled to the Nether, gathered some glowstone, as you can see here. I also gathered like tons and tons of netherrack. That's in the form of hellfire dust right now. But I processed that to make some soul urns. There we go. We got some block dispensers on the way. I'll craft those. I can't craft them now. I don't have enough inventory space. But let's see. Oh yeah, breeding farm. So, so this is what I've been working on for the most part. This is just like some templates that I'll be using for an automated wheat farm. I'm just using like this open area here to work on that. But let's look at the breeding farm. So as you can see, the circuitry that I detailed in the last episode, I've completely covered it up into these like battery-looking things. So it's all kind of jacketed. To use an electrician's term. I'm not exactly sure if redstone counts as electricity, but there you go. So we'll work on closing up the walls later. I might do that off camera so I can come up with some good designs. Also, let's walk over here. This is really useful. Right next to my mine, right next to the breeding farm, we've got this little building here, and this is connected to. Let's go out here. This is a water wheel. I've actually had this water wheel stored in my house for quite a while now, and I haven't used it up until now. But we had this little I actually made this pool of water, but we've got that flowing through this little sluice on top of the water wheel. It goes into this house and it goes underground, and it's powering the breeding farm. It'll power other stuff like the wheat farm and stuff when I put that up there. I'm gonna actually put an automatic wheat farm at the top of this to provide wheat for breeding. I'll show you what's going on up there in a minute, but this this exposed gearbox and axle thing, which is connected to the water wheel. This one I'll put like a little tower here just to cover that up a bit later. So let's go up to the breeding farm and see what else is going on here. So as you can see, we got little windows so you can view each thing. I might have like little walkways so you can actually look at each level maybe. I don't know. I'll work with that in a little while. I'll go down there in a second. I dug out some stuff under there. A little bit of redstone spoiler there, but that's okay. So if we go up here, you'll see that I completed the little animal holding cells. Here's my final design. We got our vine traps here. We got our animals. They're all finally bred enough cows. Hold on, I'm going to turn my sound down. I really don't like my sound back to 10%. So yeah, I got breeding harnesses for all the animals. You'll see these little pillars of molding here. That's because you can actually, because this is like an empty corner of a block here, if you walk into here, or if any sort of mob walks into here, you can actually push the animal down into here, and they'll fall, and then it's really tedious to try to get them back up, especially after sorry, I'll just clear my throat there. Anyway, in order to avoid accidentally pushing them through corners of blocks, I put this molding here, and I think it looks kind of nice anyway. And then up here, almost done. I can't get up there. Up here we have block dispensers and hoppers that are all powered, so anything that goes into these hoppers will automatically go into the block dispensers. And this is going to use a pillar of redstone torches. The same signal that activates all the trapdoors is going to go through these. There's a bit of a delay because I found that when you breed a bunch of animals kind of in a close proximity at the exact same time, like if I were to give them all weed at the same time, it like interferes and none of them actually breed. So I had to do like a, what is this, like an 8-tick delay between each pair so they actually breed successfully. So that works and that's fine. But that's the deal. And so yeah, that's what's going on up here. But let me show you the most drastic change that has gone on. And I'm just realizing now that I forgot to start my timer on my phone for how long this episode goes. I always forget. Probably about 5 times I have tried to set a timer and try to like keep my episode to a certain length, but it's never worked successfully. I always forget. But yeah, down here, so we got our redstone lines. They're all connected here. But what's a little bit more exciting than what's out here is what is inside here. So if we go in, just close your eyes as I'm walking to the center of this. Yeah, don't worry about this yet. There we go. All right, so here we go. This is the next level down in the breeding farm. This is actually right below. If you go up here, you can. There's a little door out to here. But down here on the next level, the breeding farm. This is going to be our little animal sorting. Well, not really sorting, but animal gathering place. Where, because of course we've got 4 pairs of pigs, we got 8 pairs of cows, and they're all kind of in different places, and we need to find a way to channel them all into like, area for pigs and an area for cows in a way that I can then safely and orderly, I don't know, slaughter them in a safe and orderly way. And this is where it all happens. So we got these little water sluices that go here. I had to do a little bit of creative water work with this. And it all kind of channels down into these 2 slots. The cows go here, and the pigs go here, and they're all like the same distance from the center of the room. And then down here, they're actually, I used signs and what are they called? Panels, stone panels, so that the cows will flow into this block and they'll fall down, or maybe that's the pigs, and the cows are over there. But that's what's going to happen, and then they'll flow into some saws, and we can do some stuff with that, and I'll do that in future episodes. The breeding farm, I'm realizing, is taking a long time, and I'm looking forward to its completion. But it's kind of fun to build this because it's quite neat, and that is going to lead me into another thing, which has kind of been in my way of completing the breeding farm because I hadn't really figured out how I was going to do it, and that is the timing mechanism. Because I said that I'm going to need, a pulse to be sent to all these trapdoors and stuff every 5 minutes. So I need a consistent 5-minute pulse, and I finally got around to designing that. Yeah, I think in his own Let's Play, Batuse made like a giant tower of water, and I consider that very neat, but also very tedious to build. At least for my short attention span. So rather than doing that, I invented well, not invented, I'm sure someone else has done it before, but I came up with a relatively simple timing design that's basically going to send out a pulse every like 5 minutes and 12 seconds or something like that, which is going to work just fine for the breeding farm. And in order to show you that, it's going to be located right here, so it's a fairly small footprint for a timer. But I'm going to switch over into my creative mode world, in which I kind of test redstone designs for this world before actually building them out of legitimate resources. So yes, I'm going to go over there and I'll show you the timer. Alright, so here we are in my creative mode world. Let me just make the time into daytime. There we go. Alright, so ignore this. This is just like a setup for a lot of gearboxes and saws and stuff in a very compact way. I'll worry about that later. But this is my timer. So basically it uses about like 3 or 4 different redstone mechanisms. And before I explain this, why don't I just for those of you who may not be like incredibly redstone savvy, let me just explain a couple of basic circuits that I use in this design. So the first one is the monostable circuit. Basically, at least in a very simple form, you just build it like this. Torch here, like that, repeater on full delay, and like that. And so this is your input right here. And so for a monostable circuit, basically, you can send a redstone current in here. It could be, you know, a continuous current. It could be a pulse or whatever you want to do. Any length of redstone current, and it's just going to make it into a short pulse. So, oops, so let's see. This is our output. What if I just turn the lever on? It just sends a pulse like that. This is the output, just like that. I can switch that. Notice how this is still on, but it's only just sent that one pulse, and I can do it again. There's your pulse. So that's a monostable circuit. I used this a couple of times in the timer. Then we have, now this is ridiculously simple. This is a NOT gate. I'm sure you're all familiar with this, also known as an inverter. You know, basically signal in here, torch here, whatever you put in, that's inverted by the torch. Now that's pretty simple. Positive in, negative out, right? So there you go. That is a NOT gate, and the third one is a block dispenser. What would you call it? I'd call it like a toggle, I guess. I'm not sure the exact terminology that you'd use for it, but basically we have a block dispenser that has slabs and it has a solid block in it. And so basically the number of total blocks indicate how many bits of data it stores. So basically every time it receives a pulse, it will break a block and replace one. And of course 4 of them are slabs, so slabs not conducting redstone energy, they don't do anything. But when the solid block is placed down, this torch under here is going to then power the block above it, which will then send a signal to anything adjacent to it. So notice how this repeater is powered when the block is next to it, because it's powered by this torch under here. So that way I can configure it so that when this block dispenser receives, in this case, 5 pulses, on the 5th pulse it will then send out a signal. So let me just go through the circuit. First off, it starts off with a turntable, which is really useful for timing. It's probably better than wolves. And basically this is on the lowest setting, but in the final design it's going to be on the longest setting, like this. So basically it's going to rotate this torch here every 4 seconds, I believe. Yeah, 4 seconds. And of course, because the torch has to rotate 4 times before it sends a pulse, it's going to send a pulse to here every 16 seconds. Now this pulse, of course, because it's going to be 4 seconds long, the torch is here for 4 seconds, it's going to activate the monostable circuit, which will then make it into one uniform length pulse, send it into an inverter, which is powering this block dispenser, in order to keep this block placed so that when it receives the pulse it'll then break it and then replace the next one. The block dispenser has to be powered initially, so that's what the inverter is for. When the inverter is powered, it'll unpower the block dispenser and then repower it, of course. That signal from the block dispenser is going to go to the next monostable circuit, which will then send out a pulse on the 5th tick. So basically, we've got this thing, which has, you know, set of rotations. Every rotation, it will send out every rotation it'll send out a pulse. Now every 5th one of those pulses it'll send out a pulse from here, which then goes to this block dispenser, which is basically the same thing. This is actually just kind of a roundabout way of making a monostable circuit, just so it kind of fit into this compact space and I could kind of build it on top of this without interrupting any redstone. So and then we've basically just got another little inverter right here. So this, oh no, sorry, this is just a regular monostable circuit, my bad. So basically we actually have a total of 20 pulses from this turntable. This turntable must activate this monostable circuit a total of 20 times before an actual pulse will be sent out by this monostable circuit here, and this is the output here. So it'll basically send out a pulse. If you multiply 16 seconds by 20, you get like 320 seconds, which is like a little over 5 minutes. So basically it'll send out an output pulse every 5 minutes, which is useful. It makes sense. It works. And now, unfortunately, what happened here with this design is the monostable circuit, this first one that's triggered the most frequently of all of the different components. The monostable circuit, these redstone torches would just randomly burn out for no reason, and I'm not sure exactly why. Whether that's like a weird, feature of redstone torches, whether it's a bug or whatnot, but it's incredibly annoying, and it was like ruining my circuit, because the only way to fix it is to restart Minecraft. And while this is going on in the background in an automated breeding farm, you really don't want that happening. So I actually found a mod that fixed this glitch, which is incredibly useful. I have nothing but gratitude and respect and just like utter recognition of genius from the guy who made that mod. His name is Shadow Slay, I believe, with an E on the end. It might be Shadow Slayer, and the last bit of it was cut off on the Minecraft forum. But Shadow Slay, I'm going to call him, made the Redstone Torch Burnout Fix mod, which is amazing. So if you're doing a like some sort of clock like this, a redstone clock, and you need something to fix that annoying bug, go there. I'm actually so happy about it that I'm going to link his mod in the description of this video. So yeah, I hate rain. So that's the timer, one pulse every 5+ minutes, and it's gonna work. So I'm gonna switch back to my regular world, but I'm actually going to just kind of recreate this. Now that you've seen it, I'm gonna recreate it in my regular world, and yeah, and then you can see it at work. So hold on just a second. So we're back in my regular world. One quick note, just something that I did in the meantime, between last episode and now. But I made a bunch of colored wool, which is going to be really useful for redstone circuitry because I like color coding things. And I also made wool slabs, which, as you can see, provide, well, as you saw in the timer circuit, provide a non-conductive, bunch of different blocks that you can use as bits in the block dispenser timer. So that's very useful, and I'll grab some of these for the timer, but I'll have to empty out my inventory. So I just thought I'd show you that. I'll build the timer off camera, and then I'll show you it, and I think we might have to wrap up the episode out of that. So after that, so yeah. So there we go. We have the finished timer here, built out of wool. There we go. Yeah, it works. And just a quick note: this yellow block here does not have a torch on it. There's a turntable underneath it, and that turntable is powered. It's getting power from the water wheel over there. And when I'm ready to start this circuit, I'm gonna put the torch on there, and it'll start the timer going. But everything else is ready. Everything else is ready to go, and I can start it when I see fit. As in when I finish the lower levels of the breeding farm. So that way I can slaughter the animals and breed them and have it all be in synchronization, and that'll all work on its own. So I'll start up this timer as soon as the rest of the breeding farm is ready to go. And here's our output, and it'll just go to all the trapdoors and all the wheat dispensers up there. And regrettably, we are reaching about like 16 or 17 minutes right now, and I do want to keep this episode shorter, between 15 and 20 minutes, just because of the uploading restraints. And so yeah, I'd love to do more, but I think I will wrap it up here. And I think instead of putting out longer episodes, I'll just have to do shorter episodes, but I'll do them more frequently. So what do you guys think of that? I think that works. I think it's better for everyone, And yeah, so I'll try to put out an episode every other day, 15 to 20 minutes long. Hopefully that'll work. And next episode, I'll respond to your feedback on episode 10, which hopefully will be enjoyable. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this. If I didn't do an adequate job of explaining the redstone timer in the short time that I took, then leave a comment letting me know that you'd like me to go into it a little bit further, because there are a couple little quirks that I put in here. Then I'd be happy to do that in the next episode. So yeah, I'll work on the probably the little lower level down here, the slaughtering system, and hopefully have that to show you guys. I'll also work on like a working model of a wheat farm that I can put on the top of this breeding farm. So I'll do that off camera. I'll do that between now and next episode. And next episode, we can make even more progress on the breeding farm. Hopefully, either the next one or the one after that, I'll be able to. I'm just jumping around on wool here. Either next episode or the episode after that, hopefully we'll be able to see a finished model of the breeding farm. Add the final touches to it and actually get it up and running so I can go on to the next project. So yeah, I look forward to doing that. Thank you guys again for watching. Link to stuff will be after this, and I hope you all have a good one. Now, if you haven't yet seen the previous episode of Better Than Sam, which is episode 10, you can click that link, annotation on the screen, top left corner. Below that, if you haven't seen the most recent episode of The Chaps, which is episode 9, you can go there as well. Once I make the next episode of Better Than Sam, you can click on that link, and if you're up for a surprise, you can check out one of our past videos, recent or distant, on that surprise video. And of course, if you want to stay up to date with our content, you can click the subscribe button either on that annotation or above this video. And of course, if you liked or disliked this video, be sure to reflect that in a rating on this video. So once again, thank you all for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.